Okay, today's lesson is on the next element of art, which is value. Value is how light or dark something is. Value is how light or dark an object is. How light or dark something is. So we have all the way from light to a bunch of grays to dark, almost black. So we're going to do what are called tonal bars. Tonal bars are showing the range from light to medium to dark. And we're going to do 7 values in this tonal bar. So you're going to draw a vertical line and make a long rectangle. And divide this into 7 sections. So you need 6 lines inside that rectangle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You want to try and break them up fairly even. They're not exactly even. It's okay because I'm not having you measure. So this is going to be white on this end to dark on this end. From white to dark. And you need to do this with a pen because this is in pen for your element of art. Value technique is in pen. So I'd like you to have the extra fine, ultra fine point Sharpie for this. You can also do this with ballpoint pen. This would also work for that. Or a fatter marker would also work, but we're going to do the ultra fine Sharpie for this. So that's going to be white, so I'm going to leave it alone. So my next box is going to be light. So I'm just going to put a few lines in it. I'm going to do it diagonal just to kind of give it a little more interest going on. Then I'm going to put a few more in the next box, kind of a little bit closer. I'm going to keep moving my lines closer. Which means that each box is going to have a few more lines in it compared to the last one. It doesn't have to be perfectly parallel. I'm just kind of filling them in with the lines. If they start to cross, that's all right. So these are going to be almost on top of each other. But I still can't go much really any darker compared to that. Those two are about equal. So this time I'm going to cross hatch. I'm going to cross hatch with just a few lines. Now that made that darker. And then on this last one, I'm going to get those lines really close this direction. And then I'm going to do cross hatching with lines going the other way. They're really close to each other. So I can get my darkest value yet. So I went from a white to an almost all black. Just a few little white areas showing through. I can even make it darker still, which means I can go a little bit darker on this one. So that's my grayscale, my tonal bar for hatching and cross hatching. Hatching is parallel lines, and cross hatching is 2 sets of parallel lines. That's how you shade in pen, Sharpie, marker. You use parallel lines. Now they don't always have to be straight lines. You could make them curved, kind of zigzag, whatever you need to kind of make your design flow. Okay, my next tonal bar is going to be the same 7 rectangles. So I'm going to draw my long rectangle, divide it into 7 sections, so I need 6 lines. My last one came out a little bit smaller, but that's okay. Okay, now this time I'm going to do scumble. And scumble is a bunch of circles. That's all it is. So I'm going to leave that white, and this is going to go from light to dark. So I'm going to start out with some pretty big circles that just overlap a little bit. And then I'm going to get a little bit smaller on my circles, and they're going to overlap a little more. And then I'm going to get smaller still. This just creates a different texture. I just keep getting smaller on my circles. So I have more circles, and it creates a darker value. If you can't see a change, then you're going to have to go back and darken something. And this is almost all black. I'm still doing circles, but it's barely any white spots showing through. That's my second tonal bar. And my last tonal bar is going to be made out of pointillism. My third technique for pen or Sharpie, marker, whatever you have. So draw your rectangle again. You need the 7 sections again, so 6 lines. So this time we're going to do pointillism. And pointillism is a bunch of dots. So again, I'm going to leave that first rectangle white. So I'm going to go to dots. Now when I make my dots, I'm not smashing the tip of my pen. I'm barely lifting my hand and just putting a few dots. Now I'm going to put a few more in the next section. Probably should have started out a little bit lighter because this is going to go fast. I'm getting it dark fast. So the more you spread your lines, your dots out, the lighter it's going to look. The more dots you put in it, the darker it's going to look. The hardest part is keeping it the same value all the way through this rectangle. Now when you shade an object, a form, you probably won't have these lines separating, so it won't have to be perfect. This is kind of a slow process. You're not going to want to do this in a lot of areas, but if you need the texture, you're going to do this. And then darker still. I'm not so sure I'm going to get that last one filled in because this is awfully dark already. I could have gone with a lot fewer dots in the first one and then I would have been better off, but that's okay. box has to be pretty much all filled in, but it's still got to be made with dots. So those are the 3 tonal bars for marker or pen. You can always do this with color. It'd be the same idea. But for this class, we're going to stick to black and white. Light of the paper, black marker.